We are live on the Squared Circle. One of these days, I'm going to take that off before we go live. But here we are. It is Jay Kirby along with the Toy Man Chris Hill back for more APW discussion. Great time to have tonight for sure.
Oh yeah, we've got a big guest for our upcoming show here on April 26th. You're joining us tonight. APW Where Legends Are Made 3. Our Hall of Fame show. We've got a huge card, and we've also got
It's not
some.
nice to talk about the posse that way. I mean,
very well done.
It will be a night to remember for sure. We've got some great action, some great Hall of Fame inductees, and one of them is our guest this evening. But we'll run through everything real quick and just kind of get things going. But inducting into the Hall of Fame this year, the class of 2025, will be Blade. And our guest tonight, who will be Dave Dunnings, as well as our guest from last week, Chuck West, will be our 3 inductees in the class of 2025 Hall of Fame for APW. It was great talking with Chuck last week. Looking forward to talking to Dave tonight. And hopefully we'll get Blade on here in the coming weeks. Still a couple weeks out, so... Let's see. We got, we've got these matches, and it dawned on me last week as we were going through this that it's a lot of people that I don't necessarily care for coming to this. To put it mildly, I guess is the right thing.
Wow, Chris Hill, way to stay impartial.
Yeah, it's hard, when you have people like the Cheat Code and Jay Knight coming. But he will be taking on the social media sensation Mikey B. Dealing with NTW, they're part of the Oro gang. It's kind of they get under my skin a little bit, so that's gotta work on that. But
yeah, but so do I can't imagine what you say when I'm not here.
Yeah.
But no, this is going to be a fantastic match. Both these gentlemen are younger and sprier than I, so they're going to show off and show out for the crowd in Cleburne. Jay Knight, like you said, he's known for his time over in NTW, and he showed some impressive stuff over there. And then Mikey B trying to recover from last month's loss inside the steel cage against Jackson Juicy.
Yeah,
probably trying to get himself back in the running for the North Texas title. So this will be an excellent way to show some skill off and to get himself back in the title hunt.
No, and definitely, I mean, it's ultimately it's going to be a good match. I mean, I can't say either one of these men or neither of these men are talented. They are super talented. Their antics, I take that's where I take issue with, honestly. I just so say do better. We also will have the debut of the Diamond in the Rough, Devontae James. Taking on the anime guru Drew Gaffney, another one of the thorns in my side, but I mean, so be it. They'll be in APW, and we'll make it work. I'm looking forward to this one though. I've not seen Devontae in action at all, so I've seen video of him, and I'm very much looking forward to that.
No, this is definitely going to be, as you can tell by the foe, this is going to be a clash of styles. Drew, not the biggest, but definitely one of the more athletic guys that I've seen on shows. And Devontae, clearly a man who can throw that strength around. Hey, what's up, Usagi? For friend of the show. But it's going to be a clash of styles. But these two have they're fairly new to APW, so they've got a lot to prove
Yeah,
to a
Drew's
crowd
been at
that's
shows, but he's never wrestled at APW, so it'll be really the debut of both of these gentlemen. So
they've got something to prove.
yeah,
And we've got two divisions that are absolutely their foundations have been shaken up recently. And so either one of these men could punch themselves a ticket to maybe an APW cruiserweight shot or a North Texas title match as well.
then we will have the Sanctuary's own Trey Jackson, along with Ricky Jackson, taking on Bodark Bronson. There's a lot of, I don't know if you'd say animosity here, but there definitely have been some words exchanged, along the lines. Bodark's not too fond of the Sanctuary, but it's going to be an interesting match for sure.
Yeah, two young guns. Trey obviously has showed that he is trying to get a shot at the APW Cruiserweight Championship. I've seen him at the training center. I've seen him working hard, trying to get ready for matches, trying to work on that, work on his in-ring skill, trying to work on his cardio. He is trying to improve so that he can get a shot at the APW Cruiserweight Championship. And Bronson over here, that's going to be a hell of a hurdle for him to climb over, leap over, however he's got to get over in order to get back towards Seth for the Cruiserweight title.
Then we will have an APW Cruiserweight championship match with the Fallen Angel Seth Anunnaki taking on the challenger Dante Flame. Dante has had issues with Chance Fortune, and Dante is definitely was looking to take out Chance Fortune, but unfortunately Seth beat him to it. So Seth took out Chance, and now Dante is going to get his shot at Seth for that Cruiserweight Championship.
Yes. Both of these gentlemen, they're both very talented, but they're also very much known for what they're willing to do to win. We saw what Seth's willing to do last month, and Dante is not opposed to bending and breaking rules himself. So these two, it's gonna be a hard night for the referee. Let's just say that. But it's going to be an excellent night for a Cruiserweight Championship match.
We will get to this question. They will not be live online. The only way to see them live will be at the J.N. Long Center in Cleburne, Texas. But in the weeks to come, they will be broadcast on the Wrestling Society Network, as well as our YouTube channel and the DC Network. We're all over when it comes to the videos. And speaking of those broadcasts, we've got two debuts next week. We're going to have both of our last two shows out next week. So very much looking forward to that. So then we'll get to our main event of the night, which will be a unification of the championship match of the APW tag team championship matches. It's the old school OG championship against the APW championships. Winner takes all. It is Jacked and Juicy taking on the Posse. It's going to be a battle for sure.
Listen, if you thought Chris was being what's the word I'm looking for here? Playing favorites, if he's gonna sway one way or the other, this match we know exactly who. Yeah, Gris Hill's not gonna be impartial for this one at all. We already know who he's rooting for, but it's gonna be APW OG tag team champions, Jacked and Juicy, King Outlaw, of course, Jason Bruce, and Juicy Joey Angelo Garcia versus Rock Bannon and the APW tag team champions, the Posse. Listen, both literally and metaphorically, this is going to be the biggest match for the APW tag team titles we've ever seen. This is going to be huge.
It's a
Not
unification match. I mean, I know King Outlaw has been out talking that he has no doubt that they're going to win. I know Rock Bannon feels the same way about the posse. It's going to be a battle of the big men, the battle of the wheels. And Joey's not a small man, but he's the small man in this group.
Listen, Joe, like you said, he's not the tallest, but Joey is not a small person.
Yeah.
He's got some muscle on him, he's got some size on him, but he looks I feel bad for him because everyone else in this match is so large compared to because he's not a small dude. He's not by any stretch of the imagination small. It's just the size difference, the scales, if you will. But this is physically one of the biggest tag team matches we've ever seen with King Outlaw, Big Herd, Big John, and then one of the biggest matches, period, that we've seen because this is 2 tag team titles on the line against one another to become undisputed tag team champions.
Yeah. It will be a night to remember for sure. Where Legends Are Made 3. It'll be Saturday, April 26th. Just what are we at? 2 weeks away? About 2 weeks away?
Roughly.
Yeah.
I've always got a handy dandy calendar nearby. We are in fact 15, 16, if you're counting Saturday, 16 days away.
16 days away. You Jay and Long Center, great place to be. It's going to be a wonderful night, despite the fact that Deshaun will probably be there as well. I mean,
Yeah.
there's his oral gang will be represented, and I don't know how they all got into APW, but so be it. You know, that's how it goes, I guess, sometimes. But it will be Where Legends Are Made 3. It'll be our Hall of Fame show, as we've mentioned, and 3 inductees into the Hall of Fame, and looking forward to that. It's always a special night when we have the Hall of Fame inductees. So
it's going to be a magnificent night. Big matches, big Hall of Fame inductees. This is going to be, and of course, King Outlaw's here, almost like freaking clockwork.
yep. Say his name, he will appear.
But this is going to be a big night. It's going to be we're recognizing 3 gentlemen that have contributed a lot to wrestling and to APW, and then we're recognizing from what it looks like this card, we're recognizing a lot of what's going to be the future. So this is a beautiful night of mixing the past, the present, and the future of APW. All in one just giant showcase. So do not miss out. You've got about 2 weeks, roughly, like I said, 16 days. Get your tickets. You can get them at the door, but after last month, I mean, you run the risk of not getting front row, not getting VIP, because those were sold out the week in advance.
Yeah.
So get your
As of
tickets
right now, everything is still available. That is
Yeah.
as of right now, but all can change next week. So
I'm telling you, by next week, VIP might be gone.
Yeah.
Front row will probably be about halfway gone just by next week, let alone the week after. So don't miss out. This is going to be an excellent show. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, Chris Hill's looking forward to it. So don't miss this excellent show, this excellent just batch of talent from top to bottom.
And you never know who else is going to show up. I mean, we've had special guests at every show so far. I mean, the WSN shows up with all kinds of people.
Who knows what WSN's up to again? You know,
get Brady involved, and you never know. I mean, they've got the money. And that's why they carry.
Surprised us with Shogun. They've surprised us with Gavin the Blade coming back. It's
Bear showing up. I mean, it's just I mean, there's special guest referees. Yeah, who knows what's going to happen? But we do know we do have a Hall of Fame inductee, and we will get to that right now. That's kind of what people want to watch anyway. We will have the inductee of Mr. Dave Dunnings, our guest tonight. Welcome, Dave. Appreciate your time this evening.
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you having me on.
So, you know, I know we talked a little bit beforehand that Jay and I are new to the area, new to APW, and so may not, neither one of us. I mean, I know of you because of talking to other people, but tell us a little bit of how long were you in the business? How long you've been? Let's just start. When did you start wrestling?
Was a little bit of a story on that, but back in I guess it was 2000, I started doing backyard wrestling, right? And so, well, just group of guys, group of friends, and kind of my uncle was a wrestler back in the '80s, and he was really good friends with Action Jackson, and so Action Jackson came by and watched us one time, told us we were all ridiculously stupid for doing what we were doing, and if we wanted to, uh, and if we wanted to actually wrestle, get into a school or something like that, and or talk to him. And luckily enough, I had an in because of my uncle, and so I actually spoke to him, and I credit Action Jackson and my uncle, but more importantly, my uncle. But I credit Action Jackson and my uncle as my trainers.
Very nice.
And so, yeah.
Hey, we all got to start young and dumb somewhere.
And that's exactly what it was. It was young and dumb, and but two of us actually from that crew actually went on to wrestle around Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and other places. So
nice.
It's me and a guy named Gigolo James Johnson. So, or the king of the Texas cruiserweights, James Johnson, or whatever he called himself. But yeah,
you said that's how you've had run-ins with Mr. Rock Bannon.
Oh yeah. Before that was like I started training under my uncle and AJ in 2002, and then 2003 I started getting into an actual ring, and that's when I had my first meeting with Mr. Rock Bannon. He was back when he was doing the Universal Soldiers gimmick, and he was him and I can't remember the other guy's names. I think it was Terry Roadblock, and that's the first time I met Rock and Chuck, for that matter, Chuck West. And then they saw me wrestle. I wrestled against Rock. He hit me with his top row finisher, like I was explaining earlier. Hit the belly to belly off the top, and it was very smooth. Hurt like hell, but it was a good finish. And then a little while later, went to PCW in around 2004, and I wrestled in PCW for from like 2004 to 2008. And got to meet a whole bunch of guys up there, and that's when Chuck and Rock actually approached me, and I became a New Age Cowboy, and we traveled up and down the roads with those guys. So, yeah, stories from PCW.
I forgot Chuck had said that last week that you were with the New Age Cowboys. That was
yeah. It was me, Rock, and Chuck, and we had another guy with us for a little bit. I don't remember what we called him, but cousin Mac. That's right. There's another friend of ours. But and then at NAW we had a guy named Cornbread, but just some random guys that we just like, yeah, they'll work. Bring them along.
Just
so me and Rock, yeah, me and Rock had some good times, some good feuds with a lot of people. We actually won tag champs for NAW, and or no, yeah, it was NAW, and what was he saying?
Might look at the head on that thing. I've seen better head on nickel beer.
Yeah, probably. I've had many run-ins with Mr. Jason Bruce as well.
So. Yeah.
And we apologize for that.
And you should apologize for that.
I don't think Jason's ever apologized to anybody. So, well, that's a lie. He did apologize to Axel Savage. That's the only one I can find.
I understand.
Well, let's before we get into it much more, let's take our first commercial break, and we will be right back with more of Mr. Dave Dunnings right after this.
Thanks, sir.
Are you ready to start your fitness journey today, but don't want to deal with the hassle of big, overcrowded franchise gyms? Or tired of waiting on gym equipment? Then head down to AFC Advanced Fitness Center in Keene, Texas, where we're locally owned and operated. That's 2221 FM 2280 Keene, Texas, where we offer several different memberships starting out at $23.99. We also offer 24-hour memberships and also tanning. Don't forget to call us and ask us about our first responder discounts and our educator discounts and also veteran discounts. Call us at 817-506-0003. That's 817-506-0003. Call us today and let's get healthy together.
Looking for unbeatable daily deals on the hottest vapes and treats? Head to Vapor Labs. Discover amazing sales on Geek Bars, Core Infinity Vapes, and a variety of delicious gummy treats. Find us at 1301 West Henderson Street, Suite 1, Cleburne, Texas, right between World Gym and Bright Dental. Don't miss out on your next great deal at Vapor Labs, your one-stop shop for all things vape and more.
Are you enjoying watching full episodes of Advanced Pro Wrestling on the DC Network? Well, why not catch a live show? Advanced Pro Wrestling is bringing action throughout the year in Johnson County. Catch one of our shows live in Cleburne or Alvarado, Texas. But what are you waiting for? Visit advancedprowrestling.com and get your tickets today for the next live show and come be a part of the APW experience.
Our next show will be Where Legends Are Made at the J.N. Long Cultural Arts Center in Cleburne. It will be our Hall of Fame show. And inducting that night, we will have 3 individuals. We'll have a Blade, our guest Dave Dunnings, as well as Chuck West. Now, Dave, did you ever imagine that you would be a Hall of Fame inductee for when you started wrestling?
No. I had no clue, and I never even crossed my mind thinking back. Whenever I got the call to say they wanted me to be in, part of the Hall of Fame, I was taken aback. It was really cool to be acknowledged for the stuff that I had done in the wrestling business, because I always felt that I was, a good person or I always felt I was decent in the ring, and I was a good hand. I could go be put in a match with anybody, and it turned out well. So it's always good to be acknowledged for something that you've done by your peers. So.
Speaking of people, Haas, I'm so ready for June. Honestly, I'm hoping we get you in shortly after that as well. Haas holding 63 now. Is that correct, Haas? I think if you had a birthday, it was 62-year-old outlaw. I believe he's 63 now, but still wrestling, going at it. It's
way to go.
We're talking about being too old for stuff. He started when he was old.
See, there's hope for you yet, Chris.
Yes,
yes, exactly, Chris. Yeah, there you go.
But no, Dave, I know that I've been given that compliment, and I've heard that compliment come from I want to say Arn Anderson said it the best, that the greatest compliment he ever received was being told that he was a good hand. Whoever the company needed you to wrestle, they knew, put them in there with Dave, put them in there with Arn, and and they know that you're going to go out there, you're going to have a good match, you're going to take care of them. So that is, I'm glad that you're being inducted. Give all those guys that, really work hard to just help everyone else out and get everyone else over that recognition, because sometimes it goes underappreciated being a good hand.
Agreed. Yeah, no, that's something I always prided myself on, was being able to work with anybody, any style, didn't matter what it was, just be able to go out there and produce.
And there definitely is something to be said about that. I mean, pulling the curtain back some. I mean, there are those that they can only work a certain style, and they can only do when you have someone who can do it all. It makes it, as a fan, it makes it a lot more fun to watch too, because you never know what's gonna happen. So
yeah, I agree. It makes it more for an exciting show. It's
Yeah.
not always cookie cutter type of things. You get some variety, right? That's what spice of life.
Yep.
You know, I've always said, you know, I go back to WCW days with Goldberg. I know he was hugely popular, but I never cared for him because it was like a one trick pony. You know, nothing nothing ever changed in his match, and I just was.
My mother would highly disagree with you.
Yeah, well, I know there's a lot of people that would. I was at shows where the crowd went crazy.
But I'm not one of those that would disagree with you. I agree with you. So me and my mother had discussions about that, but that's beyond the point.
Yeah,
she about bent me over with a wooden spoon. But
yeah,
I always enjoyed just being a variety player to put it anywhere. You know, many times because I was tag partner with Rock, of course. You know, we were New Age Cowboys running up and down the roads with them guys. You know, and we were always you know, always straight. You know, the good guys being, you know, baby faces, so to speak, and just having a good time wrestling, being crowd favorites, shaking hands, kissing babies, pulling people out of the crowd, dancing around with them. It was a hell of a time. Really, really enjoyed that. But then also, you know, I teamed with Texas Red and outside of Texas, and we were heels, and we got to just run down everybody outside of Texas, and it was phenomenal. It was a good time. But of course, we were faced there too sometimes. But this, you know, me and Texas Red, when we feuded in Texas, outside of Texas, we were a team. In Texas, against each other, and I like beating up on my nephew, so to speak.
I laugh at you. It seems that way anytime the Texas wrestlers are outside Texas, they're the heels.
Everybody hates on Texas. Everybody hates on Texas.
So
That's good water.
Yeah. So what were one or some of your favorite matches? Any memorable ones for you?
I had several, so many over the years, but like there was at PCW. I don't remember the year, but it was at one of their big shows, Genesis. It was a triple threat, actually, or not triple threat. It was a gauntlet style match. It was Mike Fox versus Tejano Kid. Versus then, if he beats Tejano, he got me. If he beat me, he got Rock. And that's back when we were the Texas Regulators for PCW. It was me, Tejano, and Rock Bannon. And yeah, they called me Doc Dunnings at that point. Anyways, but you know, it was a play. It was a play on Young Guns. You know, I was Doc Dunnings instead of Dave. But man, I really enjoyed that match because, you know, three distinct different styles of matches for Fox to have. Because, you know, you had Tejano Kid's style, and then you had me who could do whatever, and then Rock was the big guy. So it was that was a fun match. And then with me and Texas Red, we had a Hazard County death match in 7 Points, Texas, or Kemp, Texas, one of those cities. And how that went was they had 4 boxes on each corner filled with some kind of instrument of torture.
Okay.
and yeah, a pair of cowboy boots in one box, phone book in another box, Louis, which is a baseball wrapped in barbed wire, and then what was in the other box? I don't remember. But there was some in each one. Cowbell and bull rope, and there was some in each one of the boxes. And then thumbtacks were involved, tables were involved. We beat the ever-loving piss out of each other. It started out the match just basically, you know, forearm each other in the face. Yeah, my jaw hurt for a while after that, but it was a great match. We ended up having a hell of a feud at that promotion, and the promoter even shocked us after the match. He ended up giving us more money in our envelope because he thought it was just that good of a match. And then they actually had Necro Butcher coming out the next week, and they still said ours was better than Necro. So hey, I'll take that.
Nice job.
But yeah, it's like, I mean, that was a fun. It scared my wife though, because I told her about that feud going on. That was our big blow off match, and I told her she needed to come out there and see it. She finally came out there and saw it, and it just so happened to be that match. And yeah, it was bad timing on my part, but I knew it was going to be a great match. So I kind of tricked her into coming. Same thing with Texas Red's mother. She was kind of not upset with us, but concerned for us.
Yeah.
So so shout out to Tinker, by the way, Virginia Davidson. If you see this, but yeah.
So you said you could wrestle any style. Did you have a preferred style match?
Not really. Just because I felt like I was a chameleon in the ring, I could be in there with anybody and wrestle that style however they wanted to. So I had PCW, Gigolo James Johnson. He was a cruiserweight, high flyer, and me and him, we'd known each other since the backyard days, so to speak. And there was a trust there that some of these guys didn't have with other people, and I could just throw James however which way he needed to go, and we could make a match out of it. We do spots where I would toss him, he'd end up standing on my shoulders, and then drop down into a hurricanrana type of thing. And it was just that type of thing was just cool. Or then if you needed me to be the big guy in a match and kill a cruiserweight, I could definitely do that too. I had no problem doing that.
Yeah,
imagine that. But then I could also be the sympathetic face, wanting everybody to cheer for me. There's something I did learn from AJ, and I think it was him that said it, but he was like, it doesn't matter how many bumps you make, bumps you take, big, small, or 1,000 of them, if the bumps don't mean anything. And I, growing up, I was watching the Rock and Roll Express and the Midnight Express and everything like that. And Ricky Morton, one of the best baby faces of all time, his sweat be coming down his face, but it looks like tears, reaching out to the crowd, trying to get somebody. I'm not saying I was that good by any stretch of the imagination, but I kept that in mind. And whenever I would take a bump or I was going for the hot tag or that, I would, reach out to the crowd for some help or whatever have you. Try to get them into it. And then, I didn't learn that at first, for sure. No, that wasn't.
There's definitely an art to it.
That wasn't. Yeah, that wasn't a first time thing. No, but I learned that over the years, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's been one of the things that, as I've been more involved, you can see those that almost try too hard, or don't quite understand it, or
and that's something I've noticed as well. If you don't, a lot of, and then on WWE or whatever, AEW, a lot of time it's too fast paced, where you don't let certain things sink in, and so the crowd doesn't react. Maybe not the way that it was intended, but they're trying to get to the next spot, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I'm not hating on new style of wrestling. That's just what it is. Everything changes. But if you let certain things sink in a little bit better, maybe you'll get a better reaction, or you get the reaction you're looking for. So, yeah.
And that brings me to another thought. What are your feelings of modern style? Do you think things have changed too much in wrestling? How do you feeling about things?
Oh, no, I don't think things have changed too much. No, because there's going to be ebb and flow of it. There's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be twists and turns along the way. But as long as the stuff in the ring means something to somebody, whether it be the more old school style, everything slower paced, grab a headlock and hold on, or the spot by spot type of match that we see a lot of times in AEW and sometimes in WWE. And it's all good, man. Somebody's going to get something out of that. There's always going to be that it's still real to me, darn it, guy.
Yeah.
There's still always going to be somebody like that, and I like to think I'm one of those types of cats, even though I know the ins and outs of the business. So
that is true, Ricky. I was like,
hey there, nephew. I love that guy. Me and him, we have beaten each other up very badly, and we've also just been there and held each other very, with love. So, yeah. I'm happy he's the one inducting me. So looking forward to that.
I'm looking forward to meeting him. He's been on here commenting several times, and he's another one that I'm looking forward to meeting him.
Well, you're in for a treat. It's one of the sweetest men I've ever met in my life.
Yeah. So
genuine dude.
He definitely was blowing up the comment section last show during Chuck's interview. So
I have no doubt that he's known Chuck since he was knee-high to a grasshopper. So that was a long time ago because he's like 6'4". So no, that's gross. Don't do that, nephew. You need to look in my head.
They make him mad.
That's true, Ricky. That's true. I've been on the receiving end of that as well. But yeah, no, I'm very much looking forward to the Hall of Fame. Again, it's always cool to be acknowledged by your peers.
Anything? Do you keep up with the indie circuit anymore? Right now, or
no, not as much as I used to.
Okay.
Work and family and kids, and I got 2 kids in college and one that's not too far off, and so almost like doing the outside of wrestling thing. But what I do keep up with and stuff like that, more AEW and WWE. And then, every now and then when somebody comments or something, or I'll see something on Facebook or YouTube, I'm like, okay, cool. And I'll try to catch what I can of it. About what, except for Hill, huh, Dave? I guess I missed something. But not as much as I used to, for sure. I have a cousin that he's actually the one that makes the graphics for AEPW, Jonathan McConley. That's my cousin.
Okay.
And he's his father, my uncle, is the one that got me into wrestling and trained me.
Got it. Okay.
And so if you ever see the McConley graphics, that's my cousin. Hit him up. Quality work. Really
he
good work.
Does incredible. All of our I'd say 90% of our graphics are done by him. The belt designs,
When I saw the graphic, I was like, that's my cousin. I didn't, because normally it's see his little symbol on there. I was like, that's JT. I know that for sure. And then of course it was. But
yeah, no, he does. He's done all of our recent ones, especially. But I know even the belts, the tag belts that we have right now, the heavyweight championship belts, the women's championship belts, all designed by him as well. So that definitely.
Yeah, no, he's a phenomenal graphics artist and designer. So he does good work. I'm happy he's doing well in the business.
But,
so he still gets to deal with wrestling a lot more than I do, which sucks a little bit because I miss it. Every time I watch it, I'm like, oh, I could do that better. Try to see what they were doing, but and I'm not saying I could always do it better than they could, especially at the weight I am now. They're strapping too much. I am, but so yeah, no, I would enjoy watching it, but no, I don't keep up with it like I should, or like I want to.
Yeah. Well, we're going to take another quick commercial break, and then we'll be back to finish things up with Dave.
Sounds good.
Hello from Stitches, Clings, and Things, where we offer custom t-shirts for personal wear or business apparel. We even offer vehicle decals and even custom crochet items like beanies, blankets, coasters, and more. Please contact through our social media platform on Facebook or call us at 817-666-8027 and even email us at stitchesclingsandthings@outlook.com.
Hi, welcome to Henson Photography. We do all kinds of photos. Sports photos, family photos, and shows like APW. We have done rodeos, volleyball, basketball, cheerleading, color guard, promos, and many more. Henson Photography is family owned and ran. So come check us out on Facebook at Henson Photography, and we will see you at the next show.
Do you want to advertise your local business to a wider audience? Well, why not advertise with Johnson County's best pro wrestling promotion? Have your business showcased on Roku TV through the DC Network throughout episodes of Advanced Pro Wrestling, as well as YouTube, Facebook, and also through the Squared Circle podcast. For inquiries, please email Advertise with apw@gmail.com.
So our next show will be Where Legends Are Made, April 26th at the J.N. Long Cultural Arts Center in Cleburne, Texas. It is our Hall of Fame show, and on with us is Dave Dunnings, will be an inductee this year in our Hall of Fame show. So I'll take Jay off for a second. His computer glitched, so we'll when he comes back on, we'll
Not a problem. Work it out, Jay. Come on, hurry up. I worked mine out before the show.
Yeah, it's mine in the middle of the show. Mine shut down one time. It was the broadcasting and everything. I'm like, all right, I wonder if the show's still going. Something about live from home, that just kind of messes things up there.
Yeah, I can understand.
So back to stories and everything. Any matches? I guess how you want to say it? Any regrets in any of the matches? Anything that you wish you had done differently?
There was a match with me and Bear or Red. Actually, I guess a couple shows before our big Hazard County match. I wish that one. We had a. He had a manager at the time, and Abu, and Abu did something in the wrong time, and we called that our 5-star match, because it was just everything clicked, everything was working great, went exactly how we wanted it to. We told the story because we were completing a story, and it was just an amazing story to watch, or to especially be a part of. And Abu kind of messed it up at the very end. And so it kind of put a kink in it just a little bit. It's still a phenomenal match from bell to bell, but I wish that would have worked out a little bit better than it did. And then I wish we had documented footage of our Hazard County death match. There was somebody that did videotape it, like for the recording for the show. I'll get to that in just a second. I'll tell that whole story, Rick. But it's not bad. And but I wish we would have. There was somebody that videotaped the show and for their platform, and somehow or another it never made it to the platform, and we never got to see it. So all me and Bear have, or Ricky have, from that match is just our memories and or the scars.
Scars.
Scars somewhere on this forehead of mine is definitely a scar too from that match.
Mm-hmm.
Barbed wire sucks. And so I wish there's a couple of regrets. I'm sure Rick has a regret about taking the stink face from Rikishi. We actually went to the story on that is we were called up by Josh Newell, who runs BIW in Louisiana. And he just was like, hey, come down and we're going to go to this show. We're just going to meet some people. So we weren't booked on the show. We were just going out there to glad hand and just try to grab a booking maybe for in the future. So that's what we did. We grabbed our bags, went out there. And when we get there, we're shaking hands, kissing babies type of thing with everybody. And again, we weren't booked on the show, but we got to meet the booker. It was Brickhouse Brown. And he was just talking to us, and he was like, hey, because they ended up needing a couple guys, and me and Ricky were there with our bags. So we're all right, cool. They were going to put us in singles matches against a couple of Rikishi students. And so that was cool. So we were just thinking we were going to be singles. And then he come to us like about 30 minutes before the show basically started. They were like, oh, y'all are tag, right? And at the time we were. And so we ended up being in the main event. We ended up being in the main event. It was me and Texas Red versus Rikishi and I don't remember his student's name at the time, but one of his students. And so so from not being booked on the show at all, just to go there and shake hands to try to catch a booking sometime down the future, we ended up being in the main event. So And we got to stand there. The place that it was held at actually housed Elvis Presley at one time.
Oh, really? So,
So we got to stand where the king stood, and so there was a big X on the stage where we came out. So we got to stand where the king stood, and that was kind of cool. And Rick's mom is a huge Elvis fan.
mhm.
She was all about herself. She had to keep on calming herself down. So it was a phenomenal time. I really enjoyed that. And then, of course, Rick ended up getting the stink face from Rikishi, which you can see on YouTube. It's on there. And so just to make y'all aware.
We'll have to find that one. That's for sure.
It's a good time. I ended up calling most of that match to Rikishi. I was like, okay, Rikishi, you're gonna do this, this, and this, and this, because I knew his comeback. So I told him all he was gonna do. All we had to do was bump and feed, baby, bump and feed. So I mean, it was a hell of a time. I enjoyed it. Got to wrestle Rikishi. How many people can say that? Or
Yeah,
probably
no,
not a lot now, but yeah, at least at our level. Your proudest moment? I have no doubt, Rick. I have no doubt. I have no doubt.
There's certain things that I would be acceptable to take the stink face for. That I think from Rikishi would be one of them. There's.
I mean, I would prefer it to come from like Stacy Keibler or somebody else.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, but
yeah, or Tori Wilson.
I'm big on Tori Wilson myself. There.
Hey, nothing wrong with that, brother. Nothing wrong.
There's
No problem, Jay. But like, because I got to wrestle Rikishi, right? And then there was another time I got to wrestle the original Doink the Clown, Matt Bourne. This was on his. I don't think not too long after that he ended up. I think a year or so after that he ended up passing away. But what was that? That man. Yes.
Dogs.
Yes. That dude was having a spiritual moment with that chili dog. Just watching them go at it. It was. I mean, I know this is PG, but that wasn't so PG. So hey,
Yeah.
I mean, I just met Chris, but I'd say, I'm down with that.
It's okay. I got it there. My run-ins with wrestlers. I worked at a hotel that hosted wrestlers, and so I ran into a lot of them. And back in the late '90s, early 2000s, and that was Tori Wilson came through one time, and Stacy, and all of them, and that
you had to calm yourself down.
It was very much that was. I don't say I pushed someone out of the way to check her in, but it was definitely like, nope, I got this.
Really, Rick? Now I have no doubt that you would, but come on.
John's setting me up for something. I don't know what this is.
I don't know who John is, but yeah, I agree.
John is this one right here, the big guy on the right.
Oh, Big John. Okay.
Big John,
Gotcha.
yeah. He's he's
Hey.
setting me up for something. I think he's setting me up for a stink face from him, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I've been beat up by Big Herd, so I'm assuming he's a little bit smaller than Herd. So I get it, man. It's a big dude.
Yeah, not much smaller than Herd, but a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, Herd picked me up on his shoulders. I was like sitting on his shoulders, so little Tony and MVP could hit me with a clothesline thing. That was the longest bump, until I hit the mat. That was crazy. So.
Yeah, no, I say I'm not a small guy myself, and there's certain individuals. Herd's one of them that makes me feel small. Talk about meeting wrestlers. Big Show was the biggest. I mean, I remember him walking in, and I just looking up to him like, yes, sir, whatever you want.
Understand. I never had the chance to meet Big Show, but Big Herd, met him, wrestled him, mentored him, talked to him so many times. I actually got a Herd story for you. This is back when he just broke in. He'd only been wrestling maybe a year and a half, 2 years tops, and he wrestled a guy named Pendragon. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Pendragon, but I'm not going to down him. But he did some stuff during that match that made me upset. And so when Hurd was new, green in the business, and Hurd was in this match, and Pendragon, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, took advantage of him being green. And Pendragon is not as big as Hurd. He's probably about 5 inches shorter than Hurd. Still a big guy, but still smaller than Hurd. And my opinion, he took advantage of him. So when Hurd got into the back after the show, I stood on a chair and got in Hurd's face and told him he best not ever let any man do that again to him, or I was going to come out there and do that to him. And meanwhile, I'm standing on a chair, and I'm still shorter than this man. And but I had some great times with Hurd though. So. Yeah. You met Andre when you were 5? Yes, we know, Ricky. We know. You've been around the business forever.
Been around. He's there.
Well, his what was it? Godfather was Abdullah the Butcher, right? So, but yeah, no. But now I've known Hurd for a long time, back when he was part of the Bad Boys crew. Yeah,
he's still mean. He's still.
Yeah. Yeah, he's still big, still big guy, still a huge dude. I like to try to make him break in the ring. That was fun.
Yeah.
Try to get him to smile. That was a good time. We wrestled. I don't remember the show, but we wrestled. It was just a singles match, me and him. There's no way it was going to be a real competitive match because he could just clobber me. But I did some funny stuff with him, try to make him break, and it was a really, really good time. Kind of patted him on the butt as I was running around him. It was great stuff.
So,
yeah. Same thing with Rock. Me and Rock always had a good time when we had, guys that were bigger than us or whatever, just to try to make them break or have a good time. Bash and Spoiler 2000, Mass Destruction. Bash is a huge dude, probably close to the same size as Hurd, and I used to try to make him break. That dude didn't break for me though. He thought I was immature, I'm sure.
Jay,
gentlemen, for
Jay's back.
My entire setup. I have this wonderful computer set up and multiple monitors, and everything glitched all at the same time. And I was like, cool, I guess I'll reload. But I'm back.
Live broadcasts, that.
Yes. Gotta love some technical difficulties.
I understand.
But I did hear your story about Big Hurd standing on a chair to get in his face.
And I was still shorter than him.
Yeah. I remember meeting him for the first time because everyone told me how big he was. And so please don't. You don't want that. I'm still getting over a cold, so I don't know if you want all these germs.
Ain't got 2 weeks. He'll be gone by then.
He's got kids. He's got all the germs, so it's okay.
I did catch the Rikishi story. I got a chance. One of my first big shows in my career. I didn't get to wrestle Rikishi, but I did get to party with Rikishi beforehand. So that's something cool. I get to tell everyone. The company / school that was running the show rented out a local club, like the little VIP section.
Okay.
And he showed up, and it was really cool.
Do the Rikishi dance.
They played Too Cool's music. They played Too Cool's music on the dance floor, and I was like,
Man, like all you would have to do was pull off the yellow glasses.
Right.
There you go. That's
bust out the Brian Christopher shovel thing,
Yep.
Yeah, been great.
Well, we do have our big show April 26th at the JN Long Cultural Arts Center, where legends are made 3. It is our Hall of Fame show. We've got some special guests. We got special ring announcer in that night. I don't know if we haven't even mentioned her. Dr. The Wife will be here doing all the in-ring ceremony announcing. as well as all the other matches and our inductees. Once again, we will have Blade. Have you met Blade?
Oh
Dave?
yeah, me and
okay.
Blade go back, brother.
That,
Yeah, I've wrestled with Blade and against Blade several times.
there we go.
Yeah.
Obviously, Dave Dunnings, who are our guest this week, and then Chuck West, who was our guest last week. If you missed last week's show, go back. He got incredible stories.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Did you tell the one where Kerry ran down to the ring and knocked himself out?
No.
Oh, missed that
Kerry,
one.
I'll tell what I know real fast. There was a time where they were Kerry Von Erich was supposed to make the big save, and Kerry Von Erich was running down the ring, tripped over. Remember back in the 80s, they had that little rope that you took off, but there was still a rail down at the bottom. And Kerry tripped over that rail, hit his head on the post, knocked himself out. So Chuck had to go out to the ring floor, pick up Kerry, smack him around a little bit to wake him up so he could get his butt kicked.
There you
Oh my goodness.
He tells it way better than I did, but there you go.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I got the impression last week there's a lot of stories that we didn't hear from Chuck.
Chuck's got many. Trust me, Chuck's got many.
But we will hear, I'm sure, a lot more stories, a lot more anecdotes, all kinds of stuff. You never know what's going to happen at the Hall of Fame shows. It will be a great time. So get your tickets, advancedprowrestling.com. I know they have them on the WSN side if you're watching on there. And Dave Dunnings loves John Cena. All right. There.
No, Dave Dunnings does not love John Cena. I used to smack people for doing this to me.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I've never been a big fan of John Cena. I'm actually kind of liking the heel move on him though. For whatever reason, that's resonating.
It's
with
working.
Me all right.
It's working. Yeah. It's working.
I have a very long TED talk about that, but we've only got
we got a few minutes.
Yeah,
I don't know if I can.
I don't think I could paraphrase the whole deal, but
we'll save it. We'll save it for next week in case
right.
we need something before WrestleMania.
Right.
I'll post. I'll be in the comment section next week about it. There you go.
All right.
Sounds fair. Sounds fair.
But you know, we say we've taken some time off. But then we've got this Saturday there is Rampage wrestling in Mineral Wells. So if you're missing your wrestling in the Johnson County area, there's Mineral Wells wrestling this weekend. But then next weekend or the weekend after that, next weekend obviously is WrestleMania. Then we'll be back with our show. NTW has a show on Sunday, and then the following weekend we got 2 shows. So don't forget, we've got 2 free shows coming up, May 3rd and May 4th. The May 3rd show will be at the Railroader Stadium here in Cleburne. The Railroaders are putting on Cinco de Mayo celebration, and we'll be part of it. Nice. And then part 2 of that show will happen at the Cleburne Conference Center for our normal Cinco de Mayo show. We are debuting a new Cinco de Mayo champion that weekend. So we will have that. So, if you feel like, I haven't had wrestling for 5 weeks, you're going to get 3 shows in. I'm
pretty sure we have a show scheduled for the 10th as well. It's either the 10th or the 17th. I'll verify with APW board, but we're basically back to back.
Yeah, we've got a lot going on, and and depending on where what other shows you're looking at, we got NTW, we got Rampage, we got all APW superstars are everywhere, and then Trinity Championship Wrestling will be kicking off here soon this summer. If Trinity's still on, but I know that's happening this summer.
They have been announcing new talents left and right, so that's definitely going to be a big deal.
No lack of wrestling in North Texas, definitely, and I know there's other promotions everywhere. You got MPX that's out every weekend, DFW All Pros out everywhere, so go find some wrestling. But Dave, thank you for joining us tonight. I really do appreciate it. It's been a pleasure.
Oh, gosh.
Looking forward to meeting you in person here in a few weeks. Yes,
no,
a
I
lot of fun.
appreciate you guys. Thank y'all for having me on. It was a
Yeah.
pleasure.
Thank you for coming on.
But we will be back next week with more talking about APW. Hopefully, we'll be able to get Blade on. I know I've heard that he had a passing in the family, and that, so we'll see if we will be able to get him on before this. But either way, we will be back to talk about APW and what's to come. Thank you all for joining us tonight. We will see you next week here on the and back April 26th in Cleburne, Texas. Have a great night, everyone. Talk to you soon.